Hi everyone, and welcome to the Virgo Weekly Tarot Bite reading for the week of June 26th through July 2nd. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for soul illumination. Hi everyone, and welcome. My name is Lauren. Now this is going to be a quick read for the energy for the week ahead for the sign of Virgo. Now we are specifically looking at the two themes that came up in the general collective reading, which was posted on Sunday, and it was deep knowing and the Two of Cups that really came out prominently. And deep knowing for me really represented, as you can see, the owl sitting in between the moon and this planet. Really intuitively for us this week, having some type of internal awareness of an aspect of the two aspects of ourselves, the masculine and the feminine, really being able to see where we've needed to maybe balance on one side or the other, or bring those two into harmony, and where maybe there's been some disharmony within ourselves between the part of ourselves that initiates and moves forward and the part of ourselves that is a little bit more maybe emotionally receptive, or the part that has things that are hidden. And how through balancing that within ourselves can we then change how we intimately connect with others? How can we bring ourselves into a better balance as we connect, and in addition to based on this deep knowing of that balancing within ourselves. So that was the main theme that came up, and definitely love came up as well. So Virgo, we're going to look first at pulling some cards here to dive deeper into the messages specifically pertaining to you. So let's see what you need to know about deep knowing and kind of balancing out the feminine and the masculine energies within yourself. What does Virgo need to know about deep knowing? Oh, we have the sun. This is illumination. Beautiful. It's the energy of Leo, but it's one where we really get to have the true illumination. So for many of you, this is going to be a very kind of aha type week where awareness of the self, all aspects of the self, is going to be kind of prominently displayed or seen or felt within yourself, because that sun energy can touch every part of you. So there is going to be almost like turning on the lights within yourself and being like, whoa, I see it all now. I see what needs to be balanced. I see what's imbalanced. It can also be taking a look at the inner self as well. This can be, you see the inner, the small naked child there. This is the illumination of your true innocent, that inner child within your purest self, and that part of yourself that wants to yearn to feel free, wants to be out in the light of the sun. And with the Two of Wands coming in, I feel like there's a beautiful chance this week to really have that internal illumination of the self, of your purest version of yourself, where perhaps you have not been balancing that part of yourself into your experience. And there might be a decision with the deep knowing with Two of Wands. This is just a decision as to how do I go forward with this knowledge now. It's choosing a new path, possibly a new direction. Very interesting. All right, sorry guys, I just saw a notification. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. Now let's take a look at what's going on with the Two of Cups. What do you need to know about intimate connection with others? Two of Cups really does speak also to intimate partnerships. So you have the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles speaks to balance, speaks to reciprocity. It can speak to the giving and receiving of life, but there's a feeling here of balance in the physical, that you may be looking at this with another in your life. Maybe there is, I'm going to see what else wants to come out before I get into that. Yeah, with strength. Okay, bottom of the deck, the Magician. You Virgo, hold. It's kind of like getting back in touch with your own magic, I think. There's like a revelatory energy here, that there's like this revelation with the sun and the Two of Wands. It's like you're seeing the new way forward. You're seeing the choice that has to be made. And there's something based here with the Two of Cups. There is a Six of Pentacles and strength. And there's something here about possibly a changing dynamic, having to have the strength to possibly, because when we think of the Six of Pentacles, it does speak to the giving and receiving. And at any given time in our life, we will be on the giving end of the spectrum, and on the other side, at another point in our life, it'll be balanced by us being in a state of having to receive from others. We are never always in one side or the other. But there's a strength here, I think, in an intimate connection, looking at a current balance in what you both are giving and receiving in the physical. And that may be you are basing this decision on, or this decision might be based on the Six of Pentacles. How can your union with someone else, whether this is romantic partnership, whether this is business partnership, whether this is a family or friend relationship, this could be like saying, I need to have the strength to realize I need to give more. That's what I'm realizing about myself, is that there's been a part of myself that I have not been putting out into the world, and it's time for me to start doing that. It's time for me to start to have the strength to give more in my relationships. And how am I going to do that? Bringing my own magic to the table. Or this could be the opposite, where now you're realizing it's time for you to receive. And it's like, I see the part of myself I need to choose. I see the part of myself that I need to honor as I make this decision moving forward. And that means that at this point, I might have to talk to a significant partner in my life and say, I can't give as much anymore in a certain area. I'm going to have to receive at this point. And that may be where you really, again, have to rely on your own kind of the magician within, the magic within, to honor that, to realize this is where I'm at in my life. I'm going to pull a relationship card here, just to dive a little deeper. Since the themes of love and connection really were prominent, I think this is kind of giving us a good read as to what to expect in those connections, maybe the energy of what might be changing even. Okay, so we have two cards that came out. We have religious factors. It says your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. And then we say pay attention to the red flags the signs are cautioning you. Interesting that this came up, because when we think of religious factors, I always take this card not so much as specifically pertaining to religion. I look at this card more as our own belief systems, what we choose to follow. This can be just our own internal belief of how we see the world and what we choose to do within it. And when it says your love life is influenced by that whatever you decide to believe in, as well as your spiritual path, there's something here where with the red flags, I think for many of you, this could be where maybe what you're actually illuminating for yourself is a part of it could be something that goes against, I would say, either what your partner feels specifically, meaning that you might realize that there's a part of yourself that really wants to fill in the blank. I mean, now let's say we could say specifically, like if this was, I'm trying to think of just like something that's not pertaining specifically to religion. Now, if it is religion, this could obviously be the case where, if you are someone who is religious and your partner is not, this could be a point where you might actually have the illumination of, I suddenly realize I believe in God, and I suddenly realize I need to go back to church, the church that I went, the religion, the faith that I walked away from when I left my family, because there's this sense of religious upbringing coming through here. And so it might be one of those things where now you have to share this with another person and say, I'm so sorry, but at this point in my life, I need to receive, when we think of Six of Pentacles, I need to receive more spirituality in my life. And in order for me to do that, I have to start to make religion a part of my experience, and that is part of the magic that I need to tap into in my life now. Now, this could also be again, just a belief system where all of a sudden something is illuminated within you and you're like, wow, my whole perspective now is not about making money and living a traditional lifestyle. Actually, the realization of myself is that I've always wanted to live off the grid as a mountain man. That's the decision I want to make. That's what I value. That's the part of myself that needs to be free. And I need to follow that to its fullest extent. And in order for me to do that, I need to have the strength to change my relationship dynamic based on that, because now I have to go out into the wild and, maybe give up a bunch of stuff, and I might be on the receiving end, or I might have to give now more, something along those lines. But with the red flags, I think there's a part here with the signs are cautioning you. It might be that now you're realizing you're out of sync with an individual in your life based off of that. It might be that maybe you're ignoring the red flags within yourself that's calling you back to a faith, that's calling you to release this part of yourself. It could be something where maybe you tried to, it's like this, classic case of, what I know I've seen a lot of people in my life kind of go through is, you jump into a relationship and you're like, oh, let's not discuss religion and politics and all of that. And suddenly down the line, when you're looking to commit, really, like maybe get engaged or look at marriage, and there's all of a sudden there's this discussion of like, well, yeah, but I always thought we would celebrate Christmas with my family. And the other person's like, well, absolutely not. I don't believe in Christmas. I thought we would be, whatever. And it's like, all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, we need to have this discussion. We need to look at what this balance, this give and take in this relationship is actually going to look like. So there's something here around this, Virgo, for yourself, where this might be that week where you have that realization of what's important to you and the decision you need to make based off of that. And this might be where you realize that there's somebody else in your life who's maybe not on board, or that the red flags are there that like maybe you guys don't align. And so there needs to be this discussion around that, and discussion of how to maybe manage your resources if this is, making a decision to do something differently in the physical, if it's going to impact your physical, or this is just also looking at the strength to realize that, things change in life, and there maybe needs to be a rebalancing of duties or something along those lines. Okay, I will leave it there, Virgo. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will be releasing July's full Taroscope readings for each sign starting at the end of this week, if you'd like to check those out. Otherwise, I will see you all next week for next week's weekly Tarot Bite reading. Bye, Virgo.